What if I told you that people are more likely to do something if you tell them not to? Think about it. Have you ever noticed that when someone tells you, "Don't do this," you suddenly feel an urge to do it? Or when a product is labeled limited edition or exclusive, it suddenly becomes 10 times more desirable. This isn't a coincidence. It's a psychological phenomenon that controls the way you think, make decisions, and even how you interact with other people. It's called reverse psychology, and it's one of the most powerful mind tricks ever discovered. You might think you're immune to it, but I promise you, you're not. In fact, chances are, you've been manipulated by it multiple times just in the past week. By advertisers, politicians, your boss, your partner, and even your own brain. But here's the thing. Once you understand how it works, you can flip the script and use it to your advantage. Whether it's in business, relationships, negotiations, or simply getting what you want in life, this is a skill that can make you 10 times more persuasive. By the end of this video, you'll learn why people instinctively resist being told what to do, the 3 most powerful reverse psychology techniques, and how to use them, how to apply these tactics in real life to influence others without them realizing it. And here's the real test. At the end of this video, I'll give you a quick psychological experiment. If you fail it, it means you're easily manipulated without even realizing it. So let's get started. Why do we want what we can't have? Why do people get obsessed with something the moment it's forbidden? The answer lies in a psychological principle called reactance theory. It's the natural human response to resist control. The moment we feel like someone is taking away our freedom of choice, our brain goes into rebellion mode. Imagine this. You're walking past a park and you see a sign that says, "Do not touch the wet paint." Would you have touched the bench otherwise? Probably not. But now that you see the restriction, you suddenly feel an urge to check if the paint is really wet. Or let's take a more extreme example. Think about Romeo and Juliet. Their love wasn't just intense, it was forbidden, which made it feel even more irresistible. If their families had approved, would their love story be as legendary? Probably not. This is reverse psychology in action. When people feel like their freedom is restricted, they instinctively push back. Let's try something right now. Ready? Whatever you do not think about a white bear. Don't picture it. Don't imagine its fur. Don't think about its eyes. Just erase it from your mind. What happened? Of course, you just pictured a white bear. You couldn't help it. This is the ironic process theory at work. When you try to suppress a thought, your brain does the exact opposite. The same principle applies to behavior. Tell a kid not to eat the cookies, and suddenly, those cookies become the only thing they can think about. Tell someone not to text their ex, and guess what? They're texting their ex. Now, think about how this is used in real life. Marketing and sales. Luxury brands deliberately make their products hard to get. Limited releases, exclusive memberships, long wait lists. This creates artificial scarcity. The moment you can't have it, you want it even more. In parenting, parents often say, "Fine, don't eat your vegetables. You probably won't like them anyway." Suddenly, the kid wants to prove them wrong and takes a bite. In relationships, ever notice that when you pull away, people chase you? That's psychological reactance. The harder someone tries to win your attention, the less you care. But the moment they withdraw, you start craving their approval. Reverse psychology is everywhere. And now that you recognize it, you'll start seeing it in ways you never noticed before. Now that you understand why reverse psychology works, let's talk about how to use it, and more importantly, how to protect yourself from being manipulated by it. There are 3 powerful techniques that are used everywhere, from marketing to relationships to high-stakes negotiations. Once you recognize them, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Let's break them down. The moment you tell someone they can't have something, their desire for it skyrockets. This is called the forbidden fruit effect. Think about books that get banned. What happens? People rush to read them. When a song gets removed from streaming platforms, it suddenly becomes a must-have. Marketers exploit this all the time. They don't just sell a product, they create exclusivity, only available to VIP members. This deal is ending in 24 hours. Application only, not for everyone. The idea is simple: make something seem hard to get, and people will go out of their way to get it. How can you use this in real life? In relationships, instead of chasing someone, make yourself less available. Suddenly, you become more desirable. In business, instead of offering your service to everyone, create selective access. People will want it more. In personal goals, set self-imposed restrictions. Tell yourself you can't check social media for an hour, and watch how badly you want to do it. Humans hate being underestimated. If you tell someone they can't do something, they will try to prove you wrong. For example, tell a kid, "You probably can't finish your vegetables." Suddenly, they want to prove they can. Tell someone, "I bet you can't work out every day for a week," and watch them take the challenge. Sales trick. Most people don't qualify for this offer, but maybe you're different. Why does this work? Because we all have an ego. The moment someone doubts us, we feel the need to defend ourselves by proving them wrong. How to use this in real life? Motivate yourself. Instead of saying, "I should wake up early," tell yourself, "I bet I won't last a week waking up at 5 a.m. Watch how your brain fights back. Get someone to commit. Instead of asking, "Can you do this?" Zrenia, say, "I don't think you can handle this responsibility." People will want to prove you wrong. This is the most subtle and powerful technique. Instead of telling someone what to do, you give them two choices, both leading to the same outcome. For example, instead of saying, "Eat your vegetables," say, "Do you want broccoli or carrots?" The kid feels like they have control, when in reality, they're still eating vegetables. Instead of saying, "Join my program," say, "Would you rather start today or next week?" Either way, they're joining. Instead of asking, "Will you buy this?" Zrenia, say, "Do you want the basic plan or the premium plan?" They focus on which one to choose, not whether to buy. This works because people don't like being forced into a decision. By giving options, they feel in control, even though you've already shaped the outcome. Okay, now that you know these tricks, what's stopping you from using them? Imagine knowing these techniques, but never applying them. That would be like having the ultimate cheat code for life and never using it. Let's change that. Now that you understand how reverse psychology works and why it's so powerful, the real question is, how can you use it in your own life? Whether it's at work, in relationships, or even in casual interactions, these techniques give you an incredible advantage. But there's something even more important than knowing how to use them. You need to know how to protect yourself from them. Because here's the truth, whether you realize it or not, you're being manipulated by these tactics every single day. Marketers, politicians, negotiators, even your closest friends and family, they all use reverse psychology in some form. And if you don't recognize it, you'll fall for it every time. How to use reverse psychology to influence others? Let's start with how you can apply these techniques to your advantage. Now that you understand how reverse psychology works and why it's so powerful, the real question is, how can you use it in your own life? Whether it's at work, in relationships, or even in casual interactions, these techniques give you an incredible advantage. But there's something even more important than knowing how to use them. You need to know how to protect yourself from them. Because here's the truth, whether you realize it or not, you're being manipulated by these tactics every single day. Marketers, politicians, negotiators, even your closest friends and family, they all use reverse psychology in some form. And if you don't recognize it, you'll fall for it every time. How to use reverse psychology to influence others. Let's start with how you can apply these techniques to your advantage. All right, remember at the start, I told you we'd do a quick psychological test. Well, here it is. And be honest, your answer will reveal more than you think. Imagine this scenario. You're negotiating a salary raise at work. Instead of saying, "I deserve a raise," you say, "I understand if you don't think I'm ready yet." What do you think happens next? A. Your boss just agrees and moves on. B. Your boss starts listing reasons why you actually do deserve it. C. Your boss says no, and you feel like you failed. Got your answer? If you chose A or C, congratulations, you're falling right into a psychological trap without even realizing it. If you chose B, you're already starting to see how reverse psychology forces people to justify the opposite of what they originally thought. And that's exactly how these techniques shape the way we think, act, and make decisions. So here's my challenge to you. Try this out today. In a negotiation, in a conversation, in a simple request, see how people react when you flip the frame. And if you really want to level up, comment below with your result. Did the test surprise you? Let's see how many of you truly get it. Now, let me ask you something. Throughout this video, you've learned how powerful reverse psychology is. But tell me, do you think you've never fallen for it? Because here's the truth, you have. We all have. And that's exactly why this knowledge is dangerous. The moment you understand how influence works, you're faced with a choice. Do you use this power to take control of your life, to negotiate better, to get what you want? Or do you ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist, while others continue to manipulate you without you even realizing it? Most people will walk away from this video, nodding their heads, thinking, "Wow, that was interesting." And then, they'll forget. They'll go right back to being influenced, tricked, and played. But you're still here, which means you're not like most people. You're searching for something deeper. So here's what you need to do. Test it today. Use one technique, just one, on a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger. See what happens. Observe the world differently. Start noticing when people are using these tactics on you. See through the illusion. Drop a comment below. I want to know, what's the most shocking moment in this video that made you rethink how the world works? Because if you had a moment where you thought, "Damn, I never saw it that way before," then you're already ahead of 99% of people. If you want to understand the world on a whole new level, subscribe right now. Because after you watch that video, nothing will ever be the same again.